Is SAD common among today's startup founders? Let's find out in today's episode. Hi, this is Amar, and you're listening to Entertainment Cube. Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of Entertainment Cube. This is going to be slightly different, and you might have guessed it from the title that I've put in. Now, you might be wondering that how is this related to the topic? It is, believe me, it is. So, while the overall question that I asked may seem a little different, I'm going to be talking about the show Official CEO Giri, that is by Array Entertainment today. But before that, let me dwell a little bit about the question that I asked, which is SAD common? Now, you might be thinking that, am I talking something? And those of us who are parents might be wondering about SAD as a word, but because it can't be spoken in front of kids, or there are many other things that we talk, right? This chocolate, ice cream are not spoken, but we talk about the spelling. So, this is not that. This is social anxiety disorder, which is becoming very common. In fact, it is the third most common disorder among the humankind right after depression and alcoholism. A good amount of research is being done, and there are so many people around the world who had this disorder or have this disorder. Now, would you believe if I was to tell you that Abraham Lincoln had this, one of the greatest leaders of our time, as we know in the US history? And even now, when I was doing a little bit of research about this topic, I found so many startup founders kind of writing about their own journey. So, this is something you might have seen even on TV. If you are a Silicon Valley show fan like me, Richard, who is the main character, he has a social anxiety disorder. But this is not about Silicon Valley. Some other time I'll cover that. So, coming back, this is about social anxiety, and it's not to be confused with being introvert. These are two different things. While they may seem similar, being introvert or introvertism, we know it's about people who do not mix around with others. It's something where people are very much happy or self content. They thrive in their aloneness. Okay. In fact, there was an interesting book by Susan Cain called Quiet. It shows about the positive side of being introvert. But if I was to talk about the difference, I mentioned what is social anxiety, right? That it's something which people feel they are being judged. Okay, it's fear of being judged. But here, the self consciousness is on steroids. So while introverts do have that self consciousness, this is very much on steroids. The other important aspect is the introverts do not care if they made the best presentations or not. It's something where I would probably end up having those long pauses while I'm talking in front of people. But on the other side, the social anxiety disorder person or the person with social anxiety would be very conscious in front of everyone because he or she feels that everyone is staring at her, and at the moment while she goes up or he goes up on the stage, everyone is judging him or her. So I think that's the most important part. Now, the good news is SAD can be cured and it can be done. You can treat it yourself with practice, perspective, and facing your own fears. It's not difficult, right? So don't show the back to the fear that you have. This is that anxiety which you can overcome. Being introvert, there is nothing wrong about it. That's a personality, that's a fabric that you have. But social anxiety is something that you've acquired because of maybe learning, seeing around, or it can be just that perceived fear. So that's something, my friend, we can overcome. Okay, now enough about social anxiety disorder. Let's come to the show in the discussion, which is Official CEO Giri. This is season 2 of the show Official Chukia Giri, and they have renamed the show. So I'm probably going to do another episode on season 1 because these two bring in very different kind of concepts. While the common theme is about the office and corporate politics, this one is more about the journey of the CEO. The best thing about Official CEO Giri is Sumit Vyas. He embodies or portrays the role of the CEO so well. He actually does the all, I mean, he plays all the attributes of this role, or especially the one where he's being shown suffering from social anxiety disorder. And more on that to come later. You have beautiful Ahana Kumra still playing a bitch in this one. You have Pranay Manchanda, the famous Delhi guy, I would say, from Baked, playing the CEO's brother, that is Sumitya's brother. Aisha Chopra playing his ex-wife, and who comes, or basically Sumit invites her again and can't let go of. Preeti Hansraj Sharma playing the intern, and last but not the least, very, very talented and reliable, and I love this guy very well. Gopal Dutt playing the peon, the janitor, and I would say anything and everything in the office. Pretty much that's what we do with our peons, I guess, right? So that's something that you get to see in this show. The main thing that I feel is about the transformation from operating in a janitor's room to the journey that Sumit Vyas makes to CEO's office. It's the transformation from operating with a drone to doing the live act. And there is that sense of achievement that you get towards the end of the show when you have witnessed this journey. Clearly, you get that sense of achievement if you experience through this show when the fears are being overcome. And trust me, there is a time taken to kind of do that, and then you are able to appreciate the dialogue that Sumit says, that you should have seen me in the room. I was like Barack fucking Obama. Sorry for using that word, but yeah, it wouldn't have made an impact without that. Yeah, clearly you see that journey. The whole issue of corporate game where Ahana Kumra, it starts, I mean, basically this season 2 starts with a party where Ahana Kumra, who is the head thinker of Analog, a company which is into digital media and advertising, is leaving the company for good. So Sumit Vyas wishes her the best, and the journey is to move on. But they realize that she has founded her own agency, her own company, and because she was the head thinker and Sumit Vyas was having the social anxiety disorder, hence he was operating always from the janitor's room using a drone. Ahana has been the face to all the customers and she is pulling all the customers. Now, what would he do to get the customers back and save his company, which is analog from being sabotaged? That's the journey that you're going to experience in 5 episodes. Now, this series, if you feel, and at least I experienced it, the journey is not very long, very detailed, or I would say the storyline is a little thin, but it's the experience to savor. That's something that gave me all the powerful performances by the stellar actors, keeps you wanting for more. And it's clearly the screenplay and the direction that keeps it tight. Okay, there are a few moments where you might feel that, okay, why am I here? But those are far and few. You have a boyfriend of the ex-wife who comes into play, and there is a good amount of other awkward moments that comes in Sumita's life. The thing that I didn't like, and I guess that's a necessary evil in today's generation of the shows that we are in now, considering that most of the shows are being released for free, is the promotional content, the co-branded content. So there is an overdose of Digene. So you might feel constipated because of that. There is also Bank Bazaar. Every now and then you feel the urge of investing or getting something. And Dabur Red is covered a little subtly. But beyond that, I loved it. I really loved it. So clearly that's something you got to watch in this show. I clearly felt that they've come a long way, and the show, it ends with a party when Sumit's journey to get analog back in his control. So you see him walking from a janitor's room, walking with the umbrella, hiding or covering him from the office staff, while he's making that walk to the CEO's office. From that point, how he goes out and does his magic to get the company back. In fact, the whole journey is also contributed by the humor that is created by Cash, his brother, and there is a great line that he says for his brother कि तू रायता नहीं है और तू रायता फैलाता नहीं है तू खुद रायता है. I think that's something which clearly gives you that flavor of comedy a lot in throughout the show. The whole interactions between brother and the ex-wife, and many more moments. This show also deals with the corporate games and one very sensitive topic. I don't want to name that because that's something you will experience as it unfolds or unravels. So enough of that. Let me leave you on a note saying that this is a show that will keep you wanting for more. In fact, they have ended the show on a cliffhanger, which would begin the season 3. So that's something as a review, SAD for me is pretty much curable, and it is common in the startup founders. So what is your feedback? Have you watched the show? What's your review of this show? Please leave your comments about this podcast episode. As I said, this was slightly different. So what did you think about it? Do you like this kind of a show? Thank you for listening. Subscribe, comment, share.